Aloha, and welcome to Mystara, everyone. This video is several days late because of MystaraCon, but I'm still getting it out because I hate falling behind. This week we're looking at the Adventurers Club, based on the island nation of Ierendi, but known throughout the known world. Not quite a union, and not quite fantasy AAA, but somewhere in between. It's a fantastic source for adventure hooks when you don't have anything planned, as it gives the players some place to unwind and, more importantly, to unload after dungeon crawls. So what is Adventurers Club? How much does it cost? And do they validate parking? I'm Mr. Welch, and today check out this limited time offer. The material on the Adventurers Club comes from the Ierendi Gazetteer, where the organization is headquartered and where memberships are rewarded. To join the club, all you have to do is participate in the annual royal tournament to determine the king and queen, and those that impress are given memberships. You don't even have to go very far in the tournament. Even those that are eliminated at an early stage can still get membership if they impress the crowd. This is how many low-level adventurers join. The club was created to provide the services of adventurers to poor communities that couldn't afford to hire monster hunters or militia to patrol their outskirts. Thus, the club requires its members to handle at least 2 community service assignments per year free of charge to maintain membership. Missions are sorted by experience and expertise, so beginning members aren't tasked with killing a dragon, or clerics are guided towards areas teeming with undead. The locals don't have to worry about the monsters, the adventurers keep their skills sharp, and the nation prospers as a benefit. There are several perks for joining the club, aside from knowing what the Royal Tournament is going to entail in advance compared to non-members. First, you are awarded with the title of Kiai in the nation of Ierendi, which translates into Guardian and gives them the unofficial status of knighthood in the Ierendi borders. They can stay at the club's facilities for free if the room is available, and can always have a kitchen prepare them a meal. All other expenses at the club must be paid for by the adventurer. In addition to the mandatory quests, the club requires their members to participate in the annual tournament, even if it's just to pad out the numbers. As the prize is to become one of the honorary monarchs, not everyone actually wants to win. The club holds multiple festivals where adventurers show off their talents and skills, and members are required to attend at least 2 of these a year, though there is no limit to the number they can show up for. Lastly, the leaders of Ierendi can mobilize the entire club in times of national emergency, and while a military attack is grounds for a call-up, this so far has only been implemented in times of natural disasters such as hurricanes or volcanoes. The unofficial benefits of the club are substantial as well. Because of the wide variety of adventurers that have membership, it's easy to find a mentor for less experienced adventurers. These mentors provide not just training, but can also be an excellent source of adventures for characters looking for work. A fighter on the path of immortality might find a cave of goblins a waste of his skills, but can provide younger adventurers with much needed tactical information on their location. Members selling unneeded magic items at a decent price can find a buyer among the other members. This benefit is a tightly held secret in locations outside of Ierendi, as other nations heavily tax or outright prohibit sales of magical items. Getting kicked out of the club is quite rare, as members are chosen with care and evil types are rarely offered memberships. Leaving the club is as simple as announcing you're no longer a member. Rejoining is as simple as re-entering the royal tournament. Reasons to be expelled from the club including committing a crime in Ierendi, especially in a club lodge. Stealing or fighting from members will garner a warning, but only 1 second chance will ever be given. Minor crimes like public drunkenness might draw a rebuke, but major crimes will get memberships revoked. Losing your membership is a lifetime ban. Club members are expected to be paragons of society for the nation that embraces them. In Ierendi, the club headquarters can be found at the capital, near the royal palace. It is a popular tourist attraction, with the doors open during daylight hours. It's famous for its large collection of artifacts and trophies found within, though no actual magic items are on display. Adventurers staying there are expected to entertain guests with tales of their exploits. Those wanting some degree of privacy are expected to stay in the room or to find lodging elsewhere. Putting up with nosy tourists is considered part of the cost of membership. Across the rest of the nation, the club maintains a number of secondary locations that serve as the same purpose as the headquarters, though mostly without the tourists. Aside from Honor and White Islands, which are off-limits to visitors, the club can be found on every island except for Royster, which is the only island without a large settlement. The lodges are found at the most scenic locations, including a sandcastle lodge at Udder Island. Adventurers are treated as honored guests in the areas around the lodge, and are expected to act accordingly. They will frequently be paid to appear at local businesses, and occasionally to mediate disputes. The club was founded in 935 AC, and proved popular enough to spread to other nations. At first, the Adventurers Club was looked upon with suspicion, but has gradually gained acceptance in every nation that has opened one. It helps that the club is open to anyone regardless of nationality, race, or class. Returning to compete in the tournament might prove to be difficult, but most make it a point to attend every year. Chapters have been opened in Thyatis, Minarthat, Karamikos, Yelarum, Darrican, Rockholm, and Alfheim. New chapters have recently opened in all 3 of the northern reaches and in the Turbal clan of Etrugan. Wherever the Ierendi have an embassy, a chapter house is nearby, and most of the larger cities abroad will also have one of a smaller size. The membership can become quite exotic as the lure of the royal tournament draws in contestants of every size and shape. One of the most famous members is the draconic Earl Respin Actarpus, a good-aligned red dragon who adores the attention he gets visiting the primary chapter house. Several members of the Fey court have had members from the very start, including several archfey at various times, including Bregbethel, who famously drank the entire chapter house dry in a single night on a dare. Unusual members of the club also include a Sphinx from Serain, a gunslinging Ralda from Slagovich, 2 pachydermians, and a pygmy from Tanakumba. Because of their minor celebrity status, they're largely left alone, but in lands other than Ierendi, they are strongly suggested to do all their business inside the chapter house. While all members are considered minor celebrities and hold the unofficial rank of knight in Ierendi, the true celebrities are the members who have made it to the final round in the tournament only to lose. Since winning means having to stop adventuring to rule the nation, many aspire to see how far they can make it and then concede before the final round. You cannot concede during the final round, but many have famously not given it their all. The Archfey Oberon notoriously used illusion magic to compete for both the king and queen at the same time before his trickery was discovered and he was disqualified. He was still given membership for a year, though he never returned for a second round. Respin Actarpus nearly won before pulling up lame with an injury in an obstacle course, which many believe he faked because he had no interest in actually ruling the nation once he discovered the amount of paperwork involved. He still has made it a point to be an active member of the club and is possibly their most famous member. One of the not-so-secret roles the Adventurer Club plays in Ierendi is that of emergency services. The islands are prone to natural disasters. They are frequently victims of tropical storms and home to several active volcanoes. Add in the fact that the entire chain is seismically active, and it becomes obvious for the need of specialists that can react at a moment's notice. One of the criteria for membership is considered how useful the adventurer would be in case of a disaster. Several members were nudged into competing for the crown just so they could be extended an invitation for membership. When a disaster occurs, all members are called into service and transported by the quickest means to the location of the disaster. Members are expected to use their skills, as well as any magic items they might possess, to help with rescue and recovery efforts. Members that excel in this task are often approached to become ministers without portfolio, or actual members of the government. Inside a chapter house, members will always find the same amenities, though of varying quality the further you get from a nation's capital normally. The headquarters contains a fully functional kitchen and dining area that is staffed at all hours for arriving members. Rooms are maintained for members' use, from the rather comfortable rooms found in Ierendi to the Spartan bunks that are used in Port Licinius. Larger lodges offer luxury services such as laundry, job boards, and private meeting rooms. The lodges in Darrakan are known for being extravagant, on par with luxury hotels in the wealthiest cities. Darrakan recognizes the value of large groups of helpful adventurers, so it does its best to encourage more of them. The club's headquarters does worry about Darrakan trying to relocate the club to its own capital with the superior benefits they offer. A minor duty that the club is tasked with is providing security to the royal tournament. While monarchs are little more than figureheads, they still have a large amount of influence and can appoint the ministers without portfolio, which do have a significant amount of power. Because of this, cheating is not unheard of, and even murders have been known to happen. After the incident with Oberon, contestants are required to have all magical effects dispelled before competing. Those in charge of this duty are usually members that are competing to maintain their membership, rather than actually win, so they have time to perform security duties as well. These members are usually asked in advance to help, with mages and thieves tasked with the duty. The former for their access to magic, and the latter because they know most of the tricks already. Membership in the Adventurers Club, unfortunately, is not for life. Members have to maintain their activities in the club yearly, and they have to prove to be able to perform their duties adequately. Members who, through age or injury, cannot continue at the required level will be removed from the club. They immediately lose their elevated social rank and all benefits of membership. If they can somehow restore their lost abilities, typically through magic, they are welcome back. Membership in the club was never meant to be permanent. That is something that all members understand. It requires active participation, a yearly trip to Ierendi if not a native, and the quests and disasters they are called on to handle are quite dangerous. Membership is designed to be fluid, to get the best and most motivated involved in protecting Ierendi and the areas that encourage similar devotion. The Adventurers Club is a tried and true method to hand out adventure hooks as necessary. Walk into the club, get a quest. Show up with a bunch of +1 swords. There's always going to be some low-level fighters looking to buy a new one. Wizards can get new spells without spending a lot of time looking for them. It is primarily a story element, and a useful one at that. Next week, which is probably tomorrow, I'm looking at a much requested topic, the paths to immortality, or how to become a god, step 1. I'm also doing a live stream later today at 6 p.m. to raise some Christmas money. That's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be attempting to read as much of the Mr. Welch list as possible, which is currently close to 2,600 lines long and takes up over 60 pages printed. Swing by for a laugh and donate if I'm making you laugh hard enough. But until then, remember, I will not base any characters off The Who's drummer Keith Moon.